This is Dread from Epic Builds. In today's video topic, we're going to be talking about the new skill that has been announced today. We actually had a teaser for it beforehand. We already knew it existed, but now we actually get to look at some nodes on it. So this is Upheaval. So if you don't know, Upheaval is a melee attack that takes 120% of your added damage effectiveness. It's got a decent starting mana cost, which is really good. And pretty much it is exactly like Old Sunder. If you have played Path of Exile and liked Old Sunder, well, you're in luck because this is literally Sunderbois. And I can't wait to start the patch. I'm going to make a Sunderbois. It's like probably going to be the first build I play. Yeah, Ice Peaks, absolute garbage node. The problem is Frostbite. You need to be hitting a lot. And from the way Upheaval works, it seems like as though it only hits once per enemy per cycle. It's not like as if you can like shotgun the upheaval stuff. So this is actually really bad. And also as well, the base damage and all of your added damage is not converted to cold, which means you can't benefit from cold damage per active totem, yada, yada, yada. So in theory, this node is actually really bad, which is sad, but Upheaval has a lot of other stuff that makes up for it, like Upheaval totems. This is like one of the best things I have ever seen. I like applied EHG for finally giving us a melee totem. And you know what's the funniest part about this? This actually looks better than the Earthbreaker totems from Path of Exile because it looks like it actually works. It's amazing. So yeah, I really like Upheaval totems. If there's any way to have an extra one, which I'm going to assume is with like a unique or something, this is going to be one of my favorite builds by far, especially if you can scale the attack speed. As you can see right here, this is like the base attack speed, which is really nice. But yeah, Upheaval totems, absolutely amazing. If this has any sort of merit in terms of damage, this will definitely be one of Primalist's new strong leveling builds. And if anything, it'll probably be really good for endgame too, depending on if you need to sub in another totem or not. Tectonic Slam and Tectonic Slam. So the way Tectonic Slam works, it's right here. So you see that circle? It's like Shockwave from Path of Exile as well. They've been taking a lot of things from Path of Exile with this, which is funny. So pretty much this is like Tectonic Slam plus plus that, which is really nice. This is like the 3 fault lines. So this is like the same way. So these extra attacks, this is like Upheaval, like having extra hits. Now it's going to reduce your Upheaval, your totem attack speed. So this won't be good for totems, but it will be good for like just Upheaval in general. We don't know how much mana it is, so we can't really tell, but it seems like as though this could work really well for clear. And of course, Rejuvenating Splinters. Upheaval and Shockwave hits now shatter totems, releasing shards of rock and debris, dealing spell physical damage. Now, can this shotgun? Probably. It's a lot of health gain, and it should work with your Thorn totems and all that. Now, the problem is, with a node added like this, I would assume that they are probably going to phase out Thorn Totem on hit, as this plus Thorn Totem on hit would be absolutely busted, which is fine because you could just do the 2-hit combo of Tempest Strike, which will summon your totem, give you mana back, and if not, you give you mana back, and then you can Upheaval and hit your totems, and they will explode, dealing spell damage, and that will be your damage. And like I said, if it's shotguns, this should work completely fine. So this is actually a really cool node. I really hope it works, especially since it gets health gain per attunement. So as you stack attunement for your spells, obviously this does scale on attunement, which is really nice. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but there's a car beeping in the background, which is funny. But continuing on here, yeah, that looks really sick. I'm worried about the mana costs, obviously. Now these natural weapons, I really love these nodes. These nodes are some of the best nodes in the entire game, like the rogue ones, the warpath ones. These are amazing. So area with a mace, that is amazing. Makes you actually want to play with the mace. Maces were almost getting to the point where they're playable, and now with this, it could be even better, especially if there is base crit Although I think you can use a two-handed mace. I think you could use the Lucerne with this and do fine, and you get the area. Now with the bleed chance with the axe, that's all going to depend on. So bleed is actually a little bit different than frostbite. Bleed has a lot more scaling opportunities than frostbite, like a lot more bleed effect and duration, especially inside Primalist. So in theory, you could play a bleed upheaval build as long as there's enough more damage sources inside Tectonic Slam. If there's not, or if there's not extra hits, because as you can tell with a lot of these things, they don't shotgun. So now what I'm curious about, upheaval, would it actually, the totem nodes, would they get the bleed as well? I'm unsure about that. The melee cold damage with the staff. They've also been trying to make us use a staff of late, especially with the nodes they added at the top of the Primos tree. I don't know if this is going to be worth it or not. And this one's really cool. This one pretty much incentivizes you to use upheaval as a buff skill for your earthquake. Now, we don't know if Fury Leap is getting changed. If Fury Leap is getting a new tree and it's a good tree, then you will use this as well with Fury Leap. But if Fury Leap is bad, like it is now, then you will not be using this with Fury Leap. You'll be using it with Earthquake. So the idea is you use it with the three hit combo. The problem is mana. Now, you can get around this, like I said, with mana regen, yada, yada, yada. If that area per stat consumed in Fizz Pen is really strong, like if it's a lot of per point and all that, this could be amazing for triple hit Earthquake, because you just upheaval while you're clearing a pack, and then you see a rare, bam, whole screen is dead. At least in theory, if there's enough area from that. The area is very interesting because this is like one of those times where we get extra area outside of a skill inside of itself. Most of the time, we don't have many sources of AoE outside of the skill. Like for instance, like we have like Cinder Strike AoE and stuff like that, but nothing like this. So this could be really strong for upheaval. So Eternity caches, obviously they're teasing that. So upheaval, what are my thoughts and opinions on it? Well, quick TLDR, good starting point, really good starting point, will be amazing for leveling. This is a little weird. So the way the effects work, it looks like as though when they hit, there's like a shattering of rocks. I don't think that works. I think it's like the line that actually does the damage, like they say, and that's probably the case. It does have a generous AoE, and as you know, you could probably get even more AoE. Now, does the AoE increase the width, or does it increase the length? So I'm going to assume it increases both, but we'll have to be seen there. Now, Ice Beak's terrible. Don't use it. Probably, depending if there's enough scaling, but Frostbite sucks right now. Upheaval, absolutely amazing. If this does any damage whatsoever, like absolutely amazing. Tectonic Slam, this should be really good for clear. The chance is fine because you only need like one tectonic thing per pack. Now the issue is Shockwave cannot hit enemies already hit by upheaval, but that's completely fine because in theory, if you either hit with upheaval or Shockwave, this is meant for clearing trash like quickly. So trash isn't going to have that much HP, so it doesn't matter if it gets hit by the upheaval or the Shockwave, it doesn't matter, right? Rejuvenating Splinters really depends on if they nerf totem on hit idols, or of course you could always use the Tempest Strike engine with it. Health gain per attunement, that's insane. This node's really good as long as it's shotguns and the totems, they work and all yada yada yada. Fault lines, I'm a little underwhelmed by this, mainly because the mana cost. It looks really cool, it feels really good. You can only hit with one fault line, so you can't shotgun. So it's just better AoE clear, but the problem is, in my opinion, Shockwave seems better for AoE, and it doesn't have a mana cost and doesn't affect your upheaval. Also, one thing, can this work with the totems? If so, that's going to make clearing with your tectonic, like with your slam totem, amazing. Oh, if that really works with your totems, that's going to be sick. Yeah, and then natural weapons. I love these nodes. Keep making them. These are the most interesting nodes they've been adding because it has so much possibilities. I'm not sure if the bleed chance will get used. I know the cold damage with the staff might get used, especially if they rework staffs later on. And of course, the area with the mace is really, really, really good as long as you can use like a lucerne with it or something. It'll be two-handed mace is really good with that. And Trembler can be really, really good in if Earthquake is good, and of course Fear Leap if it gets changed. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the thing now. No more than 46 days from now. That is, ooh, that's nice. But yeah, with that being said, thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you're at, and bye.